Deep within the cold mechanical abyss of the Necron dynasties lies a figure whose pursuits defy the relentless war and calculated destruction that define his peers. Trazyn the Infinite is a being of contradiction, a master of time and decay who cherishes creation and preservation. Where other Necrons seek conquest, Trazyn craves collection. Where others erase history in the name of domination, Trazyn archives it, safeguarding the echoes of countless civilizations within the labyrinthine halls of his sanctum. His name is both feared and scorned across the galaxy, not because he is the deadliest of Necron overlords, but because he steals from friend and foe alike, weaving his obsession with preservation into a cosmic tapestry of theft, cunning, and unparalleled knowledge. To understand Trazyn is to understand the peculiar intersection of immortality and obsession. The Necrons, ancient beyond reckoning, traded their mortal forms for immortal machine bodies at the cost of their souls. For many of these once proud dynastic lords, the burden of existence has translated into a singular focus on conquest or revenge against their ancient enemies. But Trazyn's path diverged. Instead of becoming a mindless harbinger of war, he became a self-proclaimed custodian of the galaxy's cultural and historical treasures. In his view, the violent tides of history are inevitable. His role is not to stop them, but to salvage what beauty, knowledge, and relics he can before the galaxy's inexorable entropy consumes all. The galaxy itself is a fitting backdrop for such a character. It is an unrelenting maelstrom of war, betrayal, and annihilation, a place where entire civilizations vanish in the blink of an eye. In this grim-dark setting, Trazyn emerges as a paradoxical figure. His actions are often morally ambiguous, oscillating between acts of unexpected benevolence and breathtaking selfishness. One moment, he might save a priceless artifact from annihilation. The next, he might unleash devastating chaos merely to procure a rare trophy. His presence serves as a reminder that in a universe teetering on the edge of oblivion, even the act of preserving history can have destructive consequences. Central to Trazyn's identity is the mysterious Galleries of Solemnace, his personal domain on the tomb world of Solemnace. These galleries are no ordinary museum. They are a vast interdimensional repository where Trazyn has amassed an awe-inspiring collection of artifacts, biological specimens, and even living beings, all preserved in stasis. The halls of Solemnace are filled with treasures that span eons, ancient Terran relics, Xenos artifacts of immeasurable value, and even entire armies frozen mid-battle. To Trazyn, these exhibits are more than curiosities. They are living records of the galaxy's history, meticulously curated to outlast the chaos that birthed them. Yet, Trazyn's obsession is not without its dangers. His methods for acquiring artifacts are as unorthodox as they are ruthless. He employs his considerable intellect, technological prowess, and an army of loyal Necron minions to infiltrate battlefields, tomb worlds, and even the strongholds of other species. Often, his presence is detected only after he has spirited away his prize, leaving behind chaos, confusion, and sometimes even replicas in place of the stolen items. These acts have earned him a reputation as both a thief and a scholar, a reputation that draws ire even from his fellow Necrons, who view his pursuits as frivolous at best and dangerously disruptive at worst. In this tale, we delve into the enigmatic life and legacy of Trazyn the Infinite. From his beginnings as a Necron overlord to his rise as the galaxy's most infamous collector, we will uncover the stories behind his greatest heists, the enemies he has made, and the impact of his peculiar mission on the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Is Trazyn a hero in disguise, saving remnants of culture from annihilation? Or is he a selfish hoarder, preserving only for his own glory? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between, a reflection of a galaxy where morality is as fragmented as the shattered civilizations Trazyn so diligently catalogues. As we step into the halls of the Galleries of Solemnace, let us remember, the treasures of the past come at a price, and for Trazyn the Infinite, No price is too steep, no artifact too sacred, and no life too valuable to escape his grasp. This is the story of a Necron like no other, a being whose obsession with history has made him an inextricable part of it. Welcome to the world of Trazyn the Infinite. Trazyn the Infinite is a figure whose existence challenges conventional understanding, even among the ancient and enigmatic Necrons. As a Necron overlord, he possesses a form sculpted from living metal, a necrodermis, which grants him near indestructibility and the ability to repair damage with unnerving efficiency. However, Trazyn's physical form is but a vessel for his extraordinary mind, one driven by an insatiable curiosity and an unparalleled devotion to preserving history. Unlike many of his peers, whose goals orbit conquest and domination, Trazyn's motivations are far more nuanced. He identifies not as a warrior, but as a custodian of culture. His intellect is matched by his cunning, making him a master of subterfuge, strategy, and manipulation. When Trazyn sets his sights on a prize, no fortress, no battlefield, and no vault can keep it from him for long. His collection within the galleries of Solemnace speaks to his tireless pursuit of the rare, the beautiful, and the historically significant, ranging from priceless artifacts to living specimens frozen in temporal stasis. Trazyn's capabilities extend far beyond his physical prowess. His mind is a repository of countless millennia of knowledge. This intellectual depth, combined with his unparalleled technological mastery, allows him to bend time and space to his will. Central to his exploits is his surrogate protocol, a technology unique even among the Necrons. Using this protocol, Trazyn can inhabit the bodies of his subordinates or even individuals outside his own dynasty. This ability makes him virtually impossible to capture or kill. Should his physical form be destroyed, Trazyn's consciousness simply transfers to another vessel, ensuring that his schemes remain undeterred. The Overlord's technological arsenal is another cornerstone of his identity. Armed with an artifact known as the Empathic Obliterator, Trazyn wields a weapon unlike any other. This staff doesn't simply destroy its victims. It generates a psychic feedback loop, causing those emotionally or mentally linked to the target to suffer the same fate. This terrifying ability highlights Trazyn's intricate understanding of the interconnectedness of beings, whether mortal or machine. In addition to his offensive capabilities, Trazyn's command over Necron technology allows him to manipulate stasis fields and teleportation devices with precision. His trademark approach to battle, or theft, is to use these tools to isolate and extract his objective, often leaving behind decoys or traps in his wake. To Trazyn, direct confrontation is a last resort. Instead, he thrives on outmaneuvering his opponents, whether through deception or superior planning. Despite his formidable abilities, what truly sets Trazyn apart is his singular obsession. Unlike his fellow Necron leaders, who often see the galaxy as a canvas for their ambitions, Trazyn views it as a living museum. His determination to preserve history is both his greatest strength and his deepest flaw. While his methods may save relics and knowledge from annihilation, they often involve disruption, theft, and betrayal. His fixation blinds him to the consequences of his actions, leading to animosity not only from his enemies, but also from his allies. Trazyn's demeanor further reinforces his unique position within the Necron hierarchy. He is sardonic, calculating, and often irreverent, displaying a dry wit that masks the depth of his obsession. Where other Necron lords exude gravitas and terror, Trazyn's interactions often border on mockery. His dialogue is peppered with cutting remarks and veiled barbs, hinting at a mind that is as sharp as his technological edge. Yet beneath this veneer of humor lies an individual who genuinely believes in the importance of his work, even as it causes chaos in its wake. His role within the Necron dynasties is complex. While he nominally serves the will of the Silent King and the goals of the Necron race, his pursuits often lead him to act independently, or even in opposition to his peers. Other Necron overlords view Trazyn with a mixture of disdain and reluctant respect. His antics, while disruptive, are often acknowledged as a necessary eccentricity within the grander schemes of their kind. Yet Trazyn himself is largely indifferent to their opinions. For him, the preservation of history outweighs the politics of the dynasties or the petty squabbles of the living. Trazyn the Infinite stands as a figure who embodies the complexities of the Necron race. He is a paradox, a machine who treasures the organic, a preserver who thrives in chaos, and a thief who believes himself a savior. His existence raises questions about the nature of immortality and the price of obsession. In a galaxy where survival often comes at the expense of everything else, Trazyn's relentless quest to save the past ensures that he will forever remain a part of it. Trazyn the Infinite's journey to becoming the galaxy's most infamous collector is rooted in the tumultuous history of the Necron race and the profound transformation that reshaped their existence. To understand why Trazyn became the peculiar custodian of history he is today, one must first look back to the ancient days of the Necron Empire, a time before their metallic immortality and the soul-crushing price they paid to obtain it. The Necronter, as Trazyn and his kin were once known, were a short-lived, fragile species cursed by their sun-blighted homeworld. Their mortal lives were fleeting, plagued by sickness and early death, and this bitter reality shaped the core of their identity. The Necrontier civilization, though advanced and expansive, was deeply melancholic, driven by a desire to find meaning and permanence in a universe that seemed indifferent to their suffering. This obsession with longevity and legacy would become the seed of their downfall and their rebirth. Trazyn was likely a figure of significance even in the days of the Necrontier. His intellect and fascination with the past would have set him apart, though at that time it might have manifested in more traditional forms of scholarly pursuit. It is easy to imagine Trazyn as a keeper of knowledge, preserving the chronicles of his people's achievements and failures while seeking to understand the broader tapestry of the cosmos. His fixation on preservation, even in these early days, may have been born of the existential fear that defined the Necrontier, an innate desire to ensure that something of their ephemeral lives would endure. When the Necrontyre encountered the ancient star gods known as the Khitan, everything changed. These cosmic entities, born of the primal forces of the universe, offered the Necrontier a solution to their mortality. Under the leadership of the Silent King, Zarek the Necrontyre entered into a pact with the Khitan, exchanging their organic bodies for the ageless constructs of necrodermis. In doing so, they became the Necrons, immortal beings of living metal, freed from the frailty of flesh, but at the cost of their souls and individuality. For most Necrons, this transformation marked the end of their identity as individuals, as their consciousnesses were shackled to the will of their overlords and stripped of emotional nuance. Trazyn, however, was different. Whether through sheer willpower, an accident of technology, or some quirk of his personality, he retained a significant portion of his individuality after the biotransference. While others among the Necron overlords became consumed by their new roles as warlords and conquerors, Trazyn's mind remained unshackled, his obsessions untouched. But the transformation left its mark. The immortality he gained only deepened his fixation on preserving the fleeting and the fragile. To Trazyn, the galaxy became a treasure trove of wonders on the brink of annihilation, and he felt it was his duty, perhaps even his purpose, to save these remnants of history from the relentless march of time and conflict. The Necron's descent into stasis further shaped Trazyn's unique worldview. After the defeat of the Khitan and the catastrophic wars that shattered their empire, the Necrons retreated into their tomb worlds to slumber for millions of years. During this great sleep, the galaxy changed, with countless civilizations rising and falling in the absence of the Necron dynasties. When Trazyn finally awoke, he found himself in a galaxy that bore little resemblance to the one he had left behind. Entire species had vanished, their histories reduced to whispers or forgotten altogether. For a mind like Trazyn's, this was both a tragedy and an opportunity. The loss of so much knowledge and culture reinforced Trazyn's belief that preservation was paramount. He saw the galaxy not as a battlefield, but as a museum, one in constant danger of being reduced to rubble. This perspective set him apart from his peers, who sought to reclaim the Necron Empire's former glory through conquest. Trazyn instead focused on saving what could still be saved, turning his efforts toward collecting and cataloging the remnants of the galaxy's past. To him, the Necron's return was not just a chance for dominance, but a chance to ensure that the mistakes of the past would not be lost to time. Trazyn's methods and obsessions were further shaped by the chaotic state of the post-Great Sleep galaxy. The rise of the Imperium of Man, the resurgence of the Eldar, and the spread of countless xeno-species presented both challenges and opportunities. In this fractured and war-torn universe, history was often written in blood, and relics of the past were either destroyed or forgotten in the chaos. Trazyn saw himself as the lone custodian in a galaxy that had abandoned its heritage. His role, as he perceived it, was to protect these fragments of history, even if it meant stealing them from their rightful owners or plundering the ruins of dying civilizations. Yet there is a darker side to Trazyn's transformation. The loss of his organic form and the emotional detachment that came with it have made him cold and calculating, even by Necron standards. While he may cherish the artifacts and knowledge he collects, he often values them more than the lives of those he encounters. His actions, driven by what he sees as a noble purpose, frequently cause destruction and chaos, leaving a trail of animosity in his wake. In his mind, the ends justify the means. But to others, Trazyn is little more than a thief and a desecrator. Trazyn the Infinite's identity is a product of the Necrontier's ancient struggle with mortality, the devastating consequences of the biotransference, and the passage of uncountable millennia. His fixation on preserving history is both a reaction to the losses of his people and a reflection of his own immortality. In a galaxy that forgets as quickly as it destroys, Trazyn has become an anomaly, a being who refuses to let the past be erased, even as he shapes his own place within it. Trazyn the Infinite's evolution into the galaxy's most infamous collector was not a sudden transformation, but rather a series of calculated steps shaped by millennia of experiences and the ever-shifting tides of a turbulent universe. Each stage of his journey, from a curious Necronter scholar to an immortal custodian of history, was marked by pivotal decisions, challenges, and a growing obsession with preserving the remnants of a decaying galaxy. In the early days following the biotransference, Trazyn's priorities were largely aligned with the rest of the Necron dynasties. The trauma of their transformation, the enslavement and subsequent rebellion against the Shaitan, and the shattering of their once proud empire left the Necrons fractured and directionless. Trazyn, like many of his kin, turned his attention to rebuilding, though even at this stage, his focus diverged from that of his peers. While other overlords sought to consolidate power or plot revenge against the galaxy's newer inhabitants, Trazyn began to explore the remnants of the ancient Necrontire Empire, salvaging artifacts, technologies, and knowledge that might otherwise have been lost. This pursuit took him to the farthest reaches of the Necron domains, where forgotten tomb worlds and derelict ships held treasures of immeasurable value. These early expeditions laid the foundation for his obsession with preservation. For Trazyn, each artifact was a piece of a puzzle, a fragment of a history that he believed was his duty to protect. Yet even in these early days, his methods were unorthodox. His willingness to appropriate relics from other Necron lords, often without their consent, began to earn him a reputation as a meddlesome opportunist. To Trazyn, however, these actions were justified. In his mind, the artifacts were safer in his hands than in those of short-sighted warlords. As the Necrons entered their great sleep, Trazyn's preparations for stasis revealed his growing divergence from the rest of his kind. While many Necron overlords focused on ensuring the survival of their dynasties, Trazyn poured his efforts into safeguarding his collection. The galleries of Solemnache, his personal sanctum, became a sprawling repository of treasures, each carefully catalogued and preserved. This was not merely a vault for the wealth of his dynasty, but a museum of galactic history, a testament to his belief that the knowledge and culture of the past must be preserved at all costs. The sheer scale and complexity of the galleries were unparalleled, reflecting Trazyn's ambition and the depths of his obsession. When Trazyn awoke millions of years later, the galaxy he found was unrecognizable. The rise of the Imperium of Man, the fall of the Eldar, and the emergence of countless xeno-species had created a chaotic and fragmented universe. For Trazyn, this was both a tragedy and an opportunity. The destruction wrought by the galaxy's endless wars had erased much of its history, but it had also left behind ruins, artifacts, and remnants ripe for the taking. Trazyn quickly resumed his expeditions, using the advanced technologies of the Necrons to infiltrate battlefields, tombs, and even the strongholds of other species. It was during this period that Trazyn's reputation truly began to take shape. His methods became increasingly bold and unconventional. He employed legions of Necron warriors, canoptech constructs, and specialized technologies to retrieve his prizes, often leaving chaos in his wake. One of his signature tactics was the use of stasis crypts, devices capable of preserving objects, beings, or even entire armies in a state of suspended animation. Trazyn's ability to extract his objectives from the heart of conflict zones, sometimes replacing them with replicas or traps, earned him both admiration and infamy. One of Trazyn's most significant acquisitions during this time was an Imperial Guardsman regiment, perfectly preserved mid-battle. This act exemplified his approach to collecting, not merely acquiring objects, but capturing moments of history itself. To Trazyn, these soldiers were more than warriors. They were living artifacts, representations of a specific era and culture. Such acquisitions became a hallmark of his collection, further distinguishing him from other Necron lords. As his collection grew, so too did the complexity of Trazyn's relationships with the galaxy's inhabitants. His interactions with the Imperium, Eldar, and other factions were often opportunistic, guided by his desire to expand his galleries. Trazyn's willingness to bargain, deceive, or outright steal placed him in direct conflict with many of these groups, yet his actions were rarely motivated by malice. Instead, they stemmed from his unwavering belief that his mission justified any means. This belief became both his strength and his greatest flaw, driving him to take increasingly reckless risks in pursuit of his goals. Trazyn's relationships with his fellow Necrons were similarly fraught. His peers viewed him with a mixture of disdain and begrudging respect, recognizing his intellect and resourcefulness, but lamenting his disruptive tendencies. Trazyn, for his part, remained largely indifferent to their opinions. He saw himself as operating on a higher plane, his purpose transcending the petty squabbles of dynasties and overlords. This isolation only deepened his obsession as he poured all his energy into his collection. The passage of time did little to temper Trazyn's ambition. As he continued to accumulate artifacts and knowledge, he became increasingly adept at navigating the complexities of the galaxy. His ability to exploit the weaknesses of his adversaries, combined with his mastery of Necron technology, made him a formidable force. Yet his methods also left a trail of destruction and resentment, ensuring that his name would be both revered and reviled. Trazyn's rise to prominence was a gradual process, shaped by the unique challenges and opportunities of his immortal existence. Each stage of his journey, from the ashes of the Necrontire Empire to the chaotic present, reflected his evolution as a character. Driven by a singular purpose and unburdened by the morality of the living, Trazyn became a figure who defied categorization. He was not a warlord, a scholar, or a thief, but something altogether different, a custodian of a galaxy on the brink of oblivion, determined to save its remnants no matter the cost. Among the countless moments that define Trazyn the Infinite's long and storied existence, one stands out as a pivotal event, a heist so audacious and consequential that it not only cemented his reputation as the galaxy's greatest collector, but also brought his obsession perilously close to unraveling. This key event, often whispered among those familiar with his legend, involved the daring acquisition of the Bell of St. Gerstal, a priceless artifact revered across the Imperium of Man. The Bell of St. Gerstal was no ordinary relic. Crafted in the earliest days of the ecclesiarchy, it was said to toll only upon the death of the most saintly individuals, a phenomenon that defied explanation even by the most advanced Mechanicus adepts. It was not merely a symbol of faith, but a focal point of imperial morale, housed within the Sanctum Empyrean on the shrine world of Agrellan Prime. The bell's presence was a beacon for billions, a tangible connection to the divine power of the Emperor. For Trazyn, however, it was an artifact of unparalleled historical significance, representing the spiritual and cultural zenith of an entire segmentum. It was destined, he believed, for the galleries of Solemnace. Planning the theft of such a sacred relic required not only meticulous preparation, but also an understanding of the human psyche. Trazyn, as always, relied on his unique blend of cunning, patience, and technological superiority. His surrogate protocol allowed him to infiltrate Agrellan Prime undetected, inhabiting the body of an unwitting Imperial cleric. Through this guise, he gained access to the Sanctum Empyrean, observing the artifact and its guardians with a detached, analytical precision. The bell was protected by layers of defenses, psychic wards, automated weaponry, and a permanent garrison of elite Adepta Sororitas, the Sisters of Battle. It was a fortress of faith, impervious to conventional assault, yet Trazyn's methods were anything but conventional. Over weeks, he orchestrated a series of diversions, subtly manipulating events across the planet to draw attention away from the sanctum. He seeded rumors of Xenos incursions, orchestrated minor uprisings among the planet's oppressed workers, and even planted false evidence suggesting the involvement of chaos cults. These distractions stretched the planet's defenders thin, forcing the Sisters of Battle to deploy beyond the sanctum's walls. Meanwhile, Trazyn carefully probed the defenses, identifying weak points and gaps in the complex layers of security. The moment of the heist itself was as precise as it was dramatic. Trazyn employed a small contingent of Necron constructs, disguised as relic-bearing servitors, to bypass the sanctum's automated systems. As the constructs infiltrated the sanctum, he activated a stasis crypt to temporarily neutralize the psychic wards protecting the bell. The stasis field created a ripple in the immaterium, disrupting the wards for mere moments, but it was all the time Trazyn needed. With a calculated strike, he triggered the crypt's containment protocols, encapsulating the Bell of St. Gerstal in a pocket dimension before teleporting it directly to the galleries of Solemnace. The heist, however, did not go unnoticed. As the psychic wards collapsed, the disruption alerted the sanctum's defenders. The remaining Sisters of Battle, bolstered by nearby Adeptus Arbites, mounted a furious response, their faith-fueled fury turning the sanctum into a war zone. Trazyn, now exposed, abandoned his surrogate body and retreated through a series of pre-prepared teleportation routes. While his constructs delayed the pursuers, he escaped with his prize intact, leaving the defenders bewildered and enraged. The aftermath of this event was catastrophic for Agrellan Prime. The loss of the bell shook the Imperium to its core, with countless faithful questioning the Emperor's protection. The ecclesiarchy launched an inquisition to uncover the perpetrator, blaming everything from heretical cults to Eldar raiders. Yet no one could conceive of a Necron overlord as the culprit. To Trazyn, this ignorance was a testament to his success. His methods and motives remained beyond the comprehension of the living. For Trazyn, the acquisition of the Bell of St. Gerstal was not merely a triumph, but also a turning point. It demonstrated the extent of his capabilities, proving that no artifact, no matter how sacred or well-guarded, was beyond his reach. Yet it also revealed the dangers of his obsession. The heist brought him closer to exposure than ever before, and the chaos it left in its wake was a stark reminder of the collateral damage his actions could cause. Entire planetary systems fell into disarray, their faith shattered, their defenses compromised, all because Trazyn had deemed one artifact too important to be left in mortal hands. The event also deepened the rift between Trazyn and his fellow Necron overlords. While some admired his ingenuity, others saw his actions as reckless and unnecessary, a distraction from the Necrons' overarching goal of reclaiming their dominance. Trazyn, however, remained unmoved. To him, the bell was more than a symbol of imperial faith. It was a piece of galactic history, a reminder of humanity's resilience and folly. Preserving it within the galleries of Solemnace was, in his eyes, an act of ultimate significance. The theft of the Bell of St. Gerstal stands as a defining moment in Trazyn's life, encapsulating both his brilliance and his flaws. It was a testament to his unparalleled cunning, a showcase of his technological mastery, and a reflection of his unrelenting drive to preserve the past. Yet it also highlighted the moral ambiguity of his actions, the thin line between preservation and plunder. For Trazyn, this event was not just another chapter in his long existence, but a stark reminder of the cost of his obsession, a cost he was willing to pay no matter the consequences. The influence of Trazyn the Infinite on the galaxy is as multifaceted as it is profound. His actions, though often shrouded in mystery, have left ripples across the fabric of the Warhammer 40,000 universe, touching countless worlds, factions, and individuals. While many might dismiss him as a self-absorbed collector, his deeds have had consequences far greater than even he may have intended, shaping events in ways both subtle and monumental. One of Trazyn's most significant contributions to the galaxy lies in his role as a preserver of history. In a universe defined by destruction and loss, he has become an unlikely archivist, safeguarding relics, artifacts, and entire civilizations that would have otherwise been consumed by the relentless tides of war. This preservation extends beyond mere objects. Trazyn has also captured fragments of lost cultures, from the customs of extinct Xenos species to the rituals of long-forgotten human colonies. While his methods are controversial, the knowledge he has accumulated ensures that these histories are not entirely erased. In a way, Trazyn serves as a bulwark against the galaxy's inexorable entropy, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, some fragments of the past can endure. Trazyn's collection has also had a more direct impact on the galaxy's power dynamics. The artifacts and beings he has acquired often represent significant technological and cultural advances, and his possession of them has altered the course of events in unforeseen ways. For example, his theft of the Bell of St. Gerstal sent shockwaves through the Imperium of Man, undermining the ecclesiarchy's authority and sowing doubt among the faithful. Such disruptions weaken the cohesion of the Imperium, leaving it more vulnerable to external threats and internal dissent. While Trazyn may not intend to destabilize these factions, his actions inevitably contribute to the chaos that defines the Warhammer universe. Beyond the Imperium, Trazyn's interactions with other factions have also had far-reaching consequences. His fascination with the Eldar, for instance, has led to numerous confrontations with their kind, particularly the Craft Worlds. In his pursuit of ancient Eldar relics, Trazyn has inadvertently revealed the vulnerabilities of their Craft Worlds, exposing them to greater threats from other enemies. At the same time, his interest in their culture has preserved aspects of their history that even they had forgotten, creating a paradoxical relationship of animosity and reluctant gratitude. The Eldar may despise him for his thefts, but they cannot deny that his collection contains elements of their heritage that would have otherwise been lost. Trazyn's influence is not limited to cultural preservation or disruption. His unparalleled knowledge of the galaxy's history and its many factions gives him a unique perspective that few can rival. On rare occasions, he has shared this knowledge, often to further his own goals. For instance, he has been known to strike uneasy alliances with other Necron overlords, offering insights into ancient technologies or forgotten strategies in exchange for access to their tomb worlds or artifacts. These alliances, while temporary, have shifted the balance of power within the Necron dynasties, allowing Trazyn to exert influence far beyond his own domain. Perhaps the most direct and dramatic example of Trazyn's impact on the galaxy came during the 13th Black Crusade. In a moment of uncharacteristic intervention, Trazyn released an entire regiment of Cadian soldiers from stasis to fight against the forces of chaos. While his motivations were undoubtedly self-serving, he saw the crusade as an opportunity to acquire new artifacts. The consequences of his actions were undeniable. The sudden appearance of a fully equipped Imperial regiment on the battlefield turned the tide of several engagements, buying the Imperium precious time and resources. This act demonstrated that Trazyn's collection was not merely a passive archive, but a potential reservoir of power that could alter the course of wars and conflicts across the galaxy. Yet Trazyn's influence extends beyond his immediate actions. His very existence challenges the perceptions of those who encounter him. For the Imperium, he is a reminder that the Necrons are far more than mindless destroyers. They are a race of individuals with motivations and complexities that defy simple categorization. For the Necrons themselves, Trazyn is a symbol of individuality and defiance, a figure who operates outside the rigid hierarchies and militaristic priorities of their kind. His obsession with preservation, while viewed as eccentric, also serves as a counterpoint to the Necrons' destructive tendencies, suggesting that their race's legacy need not be defined solely by conquest and annihilation. Trazyn's influence is also felt in the realm of knowledge and curiosity. His collection, while inaccessible to most, represents an unparalleled repository of information that could reshape the galaxy if ever fully understood. The sheer scope of his archives, from ancient technologies to the preserved specimens of extinct species, offers insights into the galaxy's past and potential futures. While Trazyn guards this knowledge jealously, the mere existence of his collection poses questions about the nature of history, memory, and the value of preservation in a universe consumed by war. Finally, Trazyn's impact is deeply philosophical. He serves as a mirror to the galaxy's factions, reflecting their obsessions, flaws, and contradictions. In a universe where survival often comes at the expense of morality, Trazyn's actions force others to confront the cost of their choices. His thefts, while disruptive, often highlight the fragility of the things others take for granted. His obsession with preservation raises questions about the meaning of legacy and the importance of memory in a world where everything is transient. In this way, Trazyn's influence transcends the physical, leaving an indelible mark on the galaxy's collective consciousness. Trazyn the Infinite's impact on the Warhammer 40,000 universe is as vast and enigmatic as the man himself. His actions, while often viewed through the lens of theft and obsession, have shaped the galaxy in ways both subtle and profound. Whether preserving the remnants of lost civilizations, destabilizing powerful factions, or altering the course of wars, Trazyn's presence ensures that the past remains a vital force in the present. In a universe defined by destruction, he stands as a paradoxical figure, a preserver of history whose very existence reshapes it. Trazyn the Infinite's success as a collector and preserver of galactic history is rooted in his mastery of advanced Necron technologies and his innovative, often unconventional tactics. While most Necron overlords focus their technological might on domination and warfare, Trazyn employs his tools with precision, creativity, and a singular focus on acquiring and preserving artifacts. These technologies and tactics set him apart from his peers, enabling him to succeed where others might fail. At the heart of Trazyn's arsenal is his unparalleled command of stasis technology. Central to his activities are stasis crypts, devices capable of halting time within a localized field. These crypts are not merely containers for artifacts, they are tools of acquisition. When deployed, a stasis crypt can encapsulate an object, person, or even an entire battlefield, freezing it in an unchanging state. Trazyn uses this capability to preserve his acquisitions in perfect condition, often removing them from hostile environments without the need for direct confrontation. In one particularly famous example, he used a stasis crypt to extract an entire regiment of Imperial Guardsmen mid-battle, leaving their foes bewildered as their opponents simply vanished. Teleportation technology is another cornerstone of Trazyn's operations. Like all Necrons, he has access to phase shifters and dimensional translocators, devices that allow instantaneous movement across vast distances. However, Trazyn's use of these tools is exceptionally refined. He employs teleportation not only for rapid deployment and extraction, but also as a tactical advantage. By phasing in and out of locations unpredictably, he confounds his enemies, evading capture and securing his objectives with minimal resistance. His ability to teleport artifacts directly to the galleries of Solemnace ensures that his prizes are protected the moment they are acquired, making pursuit nearly impossible. One of Trazyn's most distinctive tools is his Empathic Obliterator, a unique staff weapon that serves both as a means of defense and a symbol of his status. This weapon channels a devastating psychic feedback loop upon striking a target, causing not only the victim, but also those psychically or emotionally connected to them to experience the same effects. The Empathic Obliterator exemplifies Trazyn's tactical mindset. It is not a weapon of brute force, but a tool of precision, designed to exploit the interconnectedness of his enemies. In the rare instances when Trazyn is forced into direct combat, this staff allows him to neutralize threats with devastating efficiency. Trazyn's mastery of surrogate technology is perhaps his most remarkable innovation. Using his surrogate protocol, he can transfer his consciousness into the bodies of other Necron constructs or even unsuspecting individuals outside the Necron race. This ability grants him unparalleled versatility and survivability. When operating through a surrogate, Trazyn can infiltrate hostile environments undetected, gather information, or execute plans without risking his own body. Should the surrogate be destroyed, Trazyn simply returns to his original form, leaving his enemies to face a hollow victory. This technology makes him virtually unkillable, as his true essence is never truly at risk during his operations. Canoptech constructs are another key component of Trazyn's tactics. These semi-autonomous machines, ranging from scarabs to larger and more complex units, serve as scouts, infiltrators, and assistants in his operations. Trazyn often deploys Canoptech constructs to survey potential targets, map defenses, or even carry out retrieval missions. Their ability to operate independently allows him to extend his reach across multiple locations simultaneously, maximizing efficiency and minimizing exposure. These constructs are particularly effective in environments where direct Necron intervention would draw too much attention, such as Imperial hive cities or Xeno strongholds. Another hallmark of Trazyn's tactics is his use of deception and misdirection. Unlike most Necrons who rely on overwhelming force, Trazyn approaches each mission with the precision of a chess master. He often plants decoys, false leads, or replicas of the items he takes, ensuring that his thefts go unnoticed for as long as possible. These decoys are crafted with such care that even the most diligent observers are often fooled, buying Trazyn the time he needs to secure his acquisitions. In some cases, he has been known to fabricate entire scenarios, spreading rumors of chaos incursions or orchestrating local conflicts to divert attention from his true objectives. Trazyn's tactics are not limited to technology and subterfuge. His intellect and strategic foresight are equally critical to his success. He meticulously researches his targets, studying their significance, defenses, and vulnerabilities. This preparation allows him to anticipate obstacles and devise tailored solutions for each mission. Whether navigating the labyrinthine vaults of an Eldar craft world or bypassing the psychic wards of an Imperial shrine, Trazyn approaches every challenge with the precision of a scholar and the creativity of an artist. Despite his preference for stealth and subtlety, Trazyn is not above leveraging brute force when necessary. In rare cases where subtlety fails or time is of the essence, he deploys Necron warriors and constructs in overwhelming numbers to secure his objectives. These operations, while less elegant, are no less effective. Trazyn's ability to coordinate his forces with near-perfect precision ensures that even large-scale engagements are executed with minimal losses and maximum efficiency. Trazyn's tactics and technologies extend beyond acquisition to the maintenance and organization of his collection. The Galleries of Solemnace are a technological marvel, a sprawling interdimensional complex where time and space are malleable. Within these halls, Trazyn uses advanced stasis fields and dimensional locks to preserve his treasures in pristine condition, ensuring that each artifact and specimen remains untouched by the ravages of time. The galleries themselves are protected by layers of defenses, including automated weaponry, psychic wards, and labyrinthine layouts designed to confound intruders. This fortress of preservation is both a testament to Trazyn's ingenuity and a reflection of his obsession with safeguarding the past. Through his unparalleled mastery of technology and his innovative tactics, Trazyn the Infinite has become a figure of legend. His tools and methods are as unique as his purpose, enabling him to achieve feats that others would consider impossible. Whether infiltrating the most secure locations, outmaneuvering powerful adversaries, or preserving the remnants of forgotten civilizations, Trazyn's actions are a testament to the boundless potential of a mind unshackled by the constraints of mortality. In a galaxy defined by conflict and chaos, his approach stands apart, a calculated blend of precision, creativity, and the relentless pursuit of a singular vision. Throughout his enigmatic existence, Trazyn the Infinite has had contact with a variety of beings, some allies, some rivals, and others unwitting tools in his endless quest for preservation. While Trazyn operates largely in isolation, driven by his singular obsession, his actions and pursuits inevitably bring him into the orbit of other individuals and entities, creating a web of relationships as complex as the Galleries of Solemnace themselves. These beings, whether Necron, human, or Xenos, have played critical roles in shaping Trazyn's path, and often reflect the moral ambiguity and complexity of his character. Among the Necrons, Trazyn's most significant interactions are with other overlords and dynastic leaders, though these relationships are rarely amicable. Overlords like Imhotep, the Stormlord, and Anrakir the Traveler, towering figures of Necron society, view Trazyn with a mixture of disdain and begrudging respect. Imhotep, a militaristic leader focused on conquest and the restoration of the Necron Empire, sees Trazyn's pursuits as a waste of resources, a frivolous distraction from the dynasty's grander goals. Despite this, Trazyn has occasionally collaborated with Imhotep when their objectives align, though such alliances are fragile, often strained by Trazyn's tendency to prioritize his collection over strategic interests. Anrakir the Traveler represents a different dynamic. As a wanderer and reformer among the Necrons, Anrakir shares a certain kinship with Trazyn's independent spirit, though their goals differ radically. Anrakir seeks to unite the scattered tomb worlds and restore the Necron race to its former glory, while Trazyn is more interested in cataloging history than shaping its future. Their interactions are often marked by tension, with Anrakir frequently frustrated by Trazyn's unwillingness to contribute meaningfully to the Necron's resurgence. Despite this, Anrakir has occasionally sought Trazyn's knowledge of ancient technologies and lost tomb worlds, recognizing the value of his vast repository of information. Another Necron closely tied to Trazyn is Orikan the Diviner, a cryptech known for his mastery of temporal manipulation and prophecy. Orikan's relationship with Trazyn is one of mutual utility, with both figures recognizing the other's unique talents. Orikan has occasionally sought Trazyn's assistance in acquiring relics or deciphering ancient texts, while Trazyn values Orikan's insights into the flow of time and the potential futures of the galaxy. Their partnership is transactional, marked by an underlying distrust, as each sees the other as a potential rival in the pursuit of their respective goals. Outside the Necron dynasties, Trazyn's interactions with the Imperium of Man have been both frequent and consequential. Among the most notable human figures to encounter Trazyn are the Inquisitors of the Ordo Xenos, particularly those tasked with understanding and countering Necron activity. Trazyn's thefts of sacred artifacts, such as the Bell of St. Gerstal, have drawn the ire of inquisitors and ecclesiarchy officials alike, though few have been able to pinpoint him as the culprit. His ability to evade capture and cover his tracks has turned him into a ghostly figure of legend within Imperial circles, with his name whispered in the same breath as the galaxy's most elusive thieves and manipulators. One particularly notable interaction involved Inquisitor Valeria, a figure renowned for her expertise in Xenos technology. Valeria's fascination with Necron machinery and her desire to understand their ancient civilization brought her into direct conflict with Trazyn. Their encounters were marked by a strange blend of hostility and mutual curiosity, with Trazyn intrigued by Valeria's intellect and determination, even as he sought to outmaneuver her. While their rivalry never escalated into open violence, it highlighted Trazyn's complex relationship with humanity, a mixture of disdain, admiration, and a desire to preserve what he sees as the most significant aspects of their culture. Trazyn's interactions with Xenos species are equally varied. The Eldar, in particular, have been frequent targets of his collection efforts, leading to numerous clashes with their kind. The Farseers of the Craft Worlds, whose mastery of foresight rivals even Trazyn's planning, have proven to be some of his most formidable adversaries. These encounters are often games of cat and mouse, with Trazyn using his technological prowess to outmaneuver the Eldar's psychic abilities. Despite their animosity, Trazyn holds a certain respect for the Eldar, particularly their efforts to preserve their own dying culture. In some instances, he has even gone to great lengths to secure artifacts of Eldar heritage, believing that their loss would be a tragedy too great to bear. One particularly notable Eldar figure linked to Trazyn is Yvraine, the emissary of Ennead, the god of death. Their paths crossed during Trazyn's attempts to acquire an artifact of ancient Eldar origin, a confrontation that showcased the tension between Trazyn's desire to preserve and the Eldar's need to protect their fragile existence. While Yvraine ultimately thwarted Trazyn's plans on that occasion, their interaction underscored the strange balance between their opposing goals, both driven by a deep understanding of mortality and the need to preserve what little remains of their respective legacies. Trazyn's relationships extend even to the forces of chaos, though these are far more tenuous and fraught with danger. His desire to collect rare and significant artifacts has occasionally brought him into contact with chaos champions and demons, particularly when seeking items of ancient and forbidden origin. These interactions are often marked by a delicate dance of deception and negotiation, as Trazyn seeks to extract what he needs without succumbing to the corruption that defines chaos. Despite his distaste for their nihilistic worldview, Trazyn's encounters with the ruinous powers have occasionally yielded valuable insights into the darker aspects of the galaxy's history. Ultimately, the beings connected to Trazyn the Infinite reflect the vast and intricate web of his existence. Whether allies, rivals, or unwitting pawns, they are drawn into his orbit by the gravitational pull of his obsession, each playing a role in the endless story of his quest for preservation. Trazyn's ability to navigate these relationships, balancing cunning with knowledge, ensures that he remains one of the most enigmatic and impactful figures in the galaxy, a collector not only of artifacts, but also of stories and connections that span the breadth of time and space. Trazyn the Infinite is as much a mystery as he is a figure of legend. His actions, motives, and methods often defy comprehension, even among the enigmatic Necron dynasties. The layers of intrigue surrounding him have given rise to numerous unanswered questions and speculative theories, each adding to the mystique of his character. These mysteries not only fuel the galaxy's fascination with Trazyn, but also serve to deepen the complexity of his story. One of the most enduring enigmas surrounding Trazyn is the true extent of his collection. The galleries of Solemnace are said to be a sprawling interdimensional repository containing relics, artifacts, and preserved specimens from countless civilizations. While glimpses of his collection have been documented, such as the stasis-preserved Imperial Guardsmen or the Eldar Soulstones, these represent only a fraction of what lies within. What else resides in the galleries? Trazyn's cryptic references to his collection hint at treasures so ancient and powerful that their existence alone could reshape the galaxy. Some whisper that his vaults contain pieces of the Old One's technology, while others speculate he has preserved artifacts from before the War in Heaven, a time predating even the Necron's rise. Adding to this mystery is the question of how Trazyn navigates and organizes such a vast trove of treasures. The galleries are believed to be constructed with Necron technology so advanced that it borders on incomprehensible, possibly involving dimensions outside normal space-time. Rumors abound that Trazyn himself may not fully understand the workings of his sanctum, relying on automated systems created by cryptechs long since vanished. This raises the question, is Trazyn truly the master of his collection, or merely its caretaker, bound to an ancient purpose he can no longer fully control? The origin of Trazyn's obsession with preservation is another profound mystery. While most Necron overlords are driven by conquest or revenge, Trazyn's motives seem far more personal and introspective. Some speculate that his fixation stems from a traumatic event during the Necron era, perhaps the loss of someone or something precious to him before the biotransference. Others believe his obsession is a side effect of the biotransference process itself, a psychological remnant of his mortal mind struggling to find purpose in an eternity of existence. Whatever the truth, Trazyn's unwavering dedication to preserving history suggests a depth of emotion and individuality that is rare among the Necrons, raising questions about the extent to which he retains his original self. Trazyn's use of surrogate technology is another source of intrigue. The surrogate protocol allows him to inhabit other bodies, effectively making him immortal in a way few beings can rival. But this technology, while undeniably powerful, raises unsettling questions. How did Trazyn perfect this capability? Did he develop it himself, or is it a relic of some ancient Necron innovation lost to time? Furthermore, the ethical implications of this ability are murky. Does Trazyn's consciousness truly remain unchanged as he transfers from vessel to vessel, or does each transition subtly alter his mind, fragmenting his sense of self over millennia? This possibility adds a layer of existential uncertainty to his character, hinting at the potential cost of his immortality. Another mystery lies in Trazyn's seemingly limitless knowledge of the galaxy's history. While his collection provides him with unparalleled access to artifacts and records, there are times when his insights seem to transcend mere observation. Trazyn's ability to predict events, anticipate his enemies' actions, and uncover deeply hidden truths suggests that he may possess access to knowledge beyond even the scope of his galleries. Some speculate that he has uncovered fragments of the Necrontyre's lost records, perhaps even secrets left behind by the Old Ones or the Catan. Others propose that his understanding of time and causality, potentially aided by figures like Orokin the Diviner, allows him to manipulate events in ways that defy comprehension. Trazyn's relationship with the Silent King, Sarek, is another enigmatic thread in his story. While the Silent King's return has brought a renewed sense of purpose to the Necron dynasties, Trazyn's allegiance to this vision remains unclear. On one hand, he acknowledges the authority of Sarek and occasionally lends his expertise to the Necron's grand designs. On the other, his independent pursuits often place him at odds with the dynasty's goals, suggesting a deeper conflict between his personal mission and the collective will of his race. Does Trazyn harbor doubts about Sarek's leadership, or is he pursuing a hidden agenda that aligns with the Silent King's plans in ways not yet understood? The ethical and philosophical dimensions of Trazyn's actions also invite speculation. While he frames his work as preservation, his methods often involve theft, deception, and the disruption of lives. Does Trazyn see himself as a hero, safeguarding the galaxy's history from destruction, or is his obsession purely self-serving? Moreover, his collection raises questions about the morality of preservation itself. By freezing artifacts and beings in stasis, Trazyn removes them from their natural context, effectively denying them the ability to evolve or influence the present. Is his work truly preserving history, or is it a form of stagnation, reducing dynamic cultures to static exhibits? Finally, there is the question of Trazyn's endgame. What does he hope to achieve with his collection? While he often claims that his goal is the preservation of history, the sheer scope and scale of his efforts suggest a deeper purpose. Some theorize that Trazyn is preparing for a moment of cosmic reckoning, a time when the galaxy's past will become essential to its survival. Others believe he is driven by a personal need to impose order on a chaotic universe, using his collection as a way to make sense of eternity. The possibility that Trazyn himself may not fully understand his ultimate purpose adds a poignant layer to his character, emphasizing the existential uncertainty at the heart of his existence. Trazyn the Infinite is a figure defined as much by his mysteries as by his actions. Each unanswered question adds to the allure of his story, inviting speculation and debate among those who encounter him or hear whispers of his legend. In a galaxy where so much is consumed by war and destruction, Trazyn's enigmatic presence serves as a reminder that even in the pursuit of preservation, the past is never as simple as it seems. The tale of Trazyn the Infinite ends where it began, amidst the cold, silent halls of the galleries of Solemnace. These sprawling, interdimensional vaults, filled with treasures and memories of a galaxy ravaged by war, encapsulate the essence of Trazyn's existence. They are not merely a collection, they are his life's work, his obsession, and his prison. As the galaxy continues its relentless spiral into chaos, the question remains: what will be Trazyn's ultimate legacy? For all his cunning, technological mastery, and unparalleled intellect, Trazyn is a figure defined by contradiction. His actions, though framed as preservation, are often destructive. His methods, while precise, leave ripples of chaos in their wake. Yet, the artifacts he has saved, the knowledge he has preserved, and the cultural fragments he has protected are a testament to the enduring value of memory in a galaxy that forgets as easily as it destroys. Trazyn's role in the grand narrative of the Warhammer 40,000 universe is as enigmatic as the man himself. He is not a savior, a conqueror, or even a conventional villain. Instead, he exists in the liminal space between these roles, a character whose motivations defy simple categorization. He is a custodian of history, but one whose methods raise profound ethical questions. He is a Necron overlord, yet his priorities often conflict with those of his kind. He is immortal, yet haunted by the impermanence of everything he seeks to preserve. As the galaxy edges closer to its breaking point, Trazyn's collection may hold the key to understanding or even averting its ultimate fate. The artifacts and knowledge contained within the galleries of Solemnace represent a wealth of resources that could shape the destiny of countless factions. Yet, Trazyn guards these treasures jealously, sharing them only when it serves his interests or aligns with his enigmatic sense of purpose. Will there come a time when Trazyn is forced to open his vaults, to release the history he has so carefully preserved for the sake of the galaxy's future? Or will his obsession with control and preservation prevent him from ever taking such a step? In the end, Trazyn's story is a reflection of the galaxy itself, an endless cycle of creation and destruction, memory and loss. His actions remind us that history is not a static thing, but a living force shaped by those who remember it. For better or worse, Trazyn the Infinite ensures that the past remains a part of the present, even as the galaxy hurtles toward an uncertain future. As the silent halls of Solemnace echo with the hum of stasis fields and the faint whispers of preserved moments, Trazyn continues his work. Somewhere in the galaxy, a relic is being unearthed, a civilization is falling, or a battle is raging, and Trazyn is watching, waiting, ready to add another piece to his endless collection. His story, like the universe he inhabits, has no true end. It is a mosaic of fragments, each piece telling a story of triumph, tragedy, and the inexorable passage of time. And so, Trazyn the Infinite persists, a timeless witness to a galaxy on the brink, his galleries a sanctuary for the past and a mystery for the future. In his hands lies the memory of countless worlds and beings, preserved not out of love or compassion, but out of an obsessive need to ensure that nothing, not even the most fleeting moment, is truly lost. Whether this makes him a hero, a villain, or something in between is a question that will echo across the ages, an unanswered mystery, fitting for a figure whose existence is defined by enigmas.